This is the C-5 Galaxy, an aircraft so massive it can swallow 2 battle tanks, 6 attack helicopters, or 8 full-size school buses in a single load. What you're looking at is the equivalent of 3 freight trains worth of cargo, all in one aircraft. But there's something even more extraordinary about this flying giant, a feature so unique it completely changed what we thought was possible in military aviation. At 247 feet long and 6 stories high, the C-5 Galaxy is big, and it's a technological marvel that can deliver more firepower faster than any other aircraft in history. Today, we're going inside the military's largest transport to uncover how this metal giant moves the impossible. It can carry 280,000 pounds of cargo, cross entire oceans without landing, and even kneel down like a giant metal camel. Get ready to discover the incredible engineering that makes this aerial beast possible. The story of the C-5 Galaxy begins in 1963, when Pentagon leaders faced a critical problem. America needed to move massive amounts of military equipment anywhere in the world, fast, but nothing in existence could handle the job. The largest cargo plane at the time, the C-133, could barely fit half a tank. The military demanded something revolutionary, an aircraft that could carry anything in the Army's inventory, fly it across oceans, and land on rough airfields. The challenge sparked one of the most dramatic competitions in aviation history. Boeing and Lockheed went head-to-head, pushing the boundaries of what seemed possible. While Boeing played it safe with a modified commercial design, Lockheed took an incredible gamble. Their engineers proposed something unprecedented, an aircraft with a cargo bay larger than the Wright brothers' entire first flight. The specs were staggering: a tail as tall as a 6-story building, wings spanning wider than a football field, engines powerful enough to lift 380,000 pounds of empty aircraft. But as the first prototype took shape, Lockheed discovered a problem that threatened to doom the entire project. The materials technology of the 1960s had never been pushed this far, and what they found in early stress tests left engineers questioning if an aircraft this size could ever fly. The solution they devised would revolutionize aviation engineering forever. Let those engineering numbers sink in for a moment. The C-5 Galaxy stretches 247 feet from nose to tail. The Wright brothers' entire first flight covered 120 feet, half the length of this single aircraft. Think about that. We went from flying the length of this plane to building an aircraft twice that size in just 6 decades. Empty, the C-5 weighs 380,000 pounds, equal to 23 full-grown African elephants. At maximum takeoff weight, it tips the scales at 840,000 pounds, heavier than 3 fully loaded Boeing 757s combined. The cargo bay alone tells an incredible story. At 121 feet long, 19 feet wide, and over 13 feet high, it could hold your average house. The space swallows military tanks whole with room to spare. Stack 8 school buses inside? No problem. Need to move 6 Apache helicopters across the world? The C-5 handles it in a single trip. When fully loaded with fuel, this metal giant carries enough to fill 7 standard backyard swimming pools. The fuel tanks stretch through the wings like massive underground rivers, feeding 4 engines that each generate more thrust than all the engines on a Boeing 737 combined. But all this size created an engineering nightmare. As Lockheed's team pushed the boundaries of scale, they discovered that conventional aircraft design rules broke down completely. The forces acting on the wings at this size threatened to tear the aircraft apart. Lockheed's engineers faced a seemingly impossible challenge. Traditional aircraft construction methods would buckle under the massive forces generated by the C-5's unprecedented size. Their solution? A revolutionary fail-safe structure. If one part fails, the load shifts to multiple backup structures, preventing catastrophic failure. But solving the structural problems sparked another innovation. The engineers realized they could make the aircraft adapt its posture like a living creature. Enter the C-5's most striking feature, the kneeling system. Hydraulic actuators can lower the nose, tail, or entire aircraft, bringing the cargo deck down to standard truck height. This engineering marvel transforms loading operations that once took days into hours. The nose itself holds another breakthrough. The entire front of the aircraft hinges upward, while the cockpit remains in place. This 20-foot diameter visor weighs as much as 2 pickup trucks, yet opens in under a minute. Combined with the rear cargo door, this creates a drive-through capability unique among aircraft its size. Inside, the C-5 breaks every convention of aircraft design. The double-deck layout maximizes every cubic inch of space. The upper deck houses the flight crew, relief crew quarters, and even dedicated sleep bunks for long-haul missions. Below, the main cargo deck stretches longer than a professional basketball court. The flight deck accommodates 6 crew members, 2 pilots, 2 flight engineers, and 2 loadmasters. Behind them, private bunk rooms offer real beds, essential for missions stretching beyond 24 hours. The relief crew quarters house 7 additional personnel, while a separate compartment fits 8 more passengers or mission specialists. Moving aft, you'll find the troop compartment with 75 rear-facing seats. Why backward? In an emergency landing, the human body handles backward forces better than forward impact. 2 galleys and multiple lavatories complete the upper level, supporting crews through multi-day global missions. But the true heart of the C-5 beats in its cargo deck. The entire floor incorporates a roller system, thousands of steel balls that transform into a flat surface with a simple flip. Cargo pallets glide effortlessly on one side. Vehicles roll smoothly on the other. Internal winches can pull tanks weighing up to 100,000 pounds up the loading ramps. A sophisticated electronic load balancing system constantly monitors weight distribution, automatically compensating for shifts in cargo. The loadmaster can adjust the aircraft's center of gravity mid-flight by pumping fuel between different tanks. Yet in 1974, the Air Force pushed this cargo system beyond anything its designers imagined. They attempted something so audacious, it required special presidential approval, loading and launching an intercontinental ballistic missile from the C-5's cargo bay. On a clear day in 1974, a C-5 Galaxy flew over the Pacific Ocean, carrying an unusual payload, a fully functional Minuteman intercontinental ballistic missile. At precisely the right moment, the cargo bay doors opened, and the 86,000-pound missile dropped into the sky. As it fell, its rocket motors ignited, proving that mobile missile launches from cargo aircraft were possible. While this capability never became operational, it demonstrated the C-5's remarkable versatility. Throughout its career, the C-5 has tackled missions that pushed the boundaries of aircraft capability. During Operation Desert Shield, a single C-5 transported the equipment of an entire mobile hospital, 90 personnel, 40 vehicles, and 151 pallets of supplies in one flight. The alternative would have required 7 conventional cargo aircraft. The C-5's aerial refueling system revolutionized global military response. 4 specially designed receptacles allow it to take on fuel at 23,592 pounds per minute. In 1994, a C-5 set 23 world records in a single flight, including the longest unrefueled flight by a military cargo aircraft, 10,046 miles. During humanitarian missions, these capabilities prove equally valuable. After the 2010 Haiti earthquake, C-5s delivered vital supplies within hours. 1 aircraft carried 3 Black Hawk helicopters and 2 harbor patrol boats simultaneously, providing immediate search and rescue capability. Modern operations present new challenges. Supply chain issues have affected parts availability, pushing crews to innovate. Engineers developed predictive maintenance systems, using artificial intelligence to forecast component failures before they occur. New composite materials extend part life while reducing weight. The latest upgrades gave the C-5M Super Galaxy new engines that increased thrust by 22% while reducing fuel consumption by 20%. When fully modernized with these improvements, the C-5 can lift 285,000 pounds into the sky. That's enough to carry a space shuttle orbiter, 2 M1 Abrams tanks, or emergency supplies to help thousands of people in crisis. Half a century after its first flight, the C-5 Galaxy continues to shape military logistics. The Air Force's $10 billion modernization program transformed these aircraft into C-5M Super Galaxies, extending their operational life beyond 2040. Digital avionics replaced analog systems, while new engines deliver intercontinental range with 20% less fuel. Yet challenges remain. Supply chain disruptions have pushed crews to pioneer innovative solutions. Engineers now use 3D printing to manufacture obsolete parts. Artificial intelligence predicts maintenance needs weeks in advance. These adaptations keep the fleet ready for rapid deployment anywhere on Earth. The C-5's influence extends beyond military applications. Its development proved that massive cargo aircraft could operate efficiently, paving the way for modern civilian freighters. The lessons learned from its unique loading systems and structural design appear in every large transport aircraft flying today. Looking ahead, the C-5's role grows more crucial. Modern military equipment keeps getting larger and heavier. The latest tanks and armored vehicles exceed the capacity of smaller transports, When speed matters in global crisis response, the C-5 remains unmatched. Remember that unique feature we mentioned at the start? The ability to kneel, open both ends, and load through and through revolutionized military mobility forever. In a world where strategic advantage often depends on moving heavy equipment quickly, the C-5 Galaxy stands as testament to American engineering ingenuity, a metal giant that turned impossible missions into routine operations. The C-5 Galaxy proved that size and agility could coexist in aviation. It changed our understanding of what aircraft could achieve. But here's a critical question. In an age of hypersonic missiles and cyber warfare, will massive transport aircraft like the C-5 remain relevant, or will tomorrow's battlefield demand something even more revolutionary? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this exploration of the C-5 Galaxy fascinating, you'll want to see our next video about the secret aircraft that could make the C-5 obsolete. Stay tuned.